Yeah, very interesting close there on Friday. So silver, gold, absolutely on fire. Silver started to pull back. Well, let me start off with the dollar, by the way, because we've been going up non-stop, regardless of where the dollar's been going. But the dollar has, and technically it's kind of been perfect here, double bottom around 96.5, broke out the descending, retested, broke out the next horizontal, and then this, as you can see, now retested. But that Friday, and by the way, that's a pretty strong close at low of day candle. I mean, it kind of matches the one before on Thursday, but it's just coinciding with news. Maybe we get the dollar going back down again because, it's based on tariffs and the dollar gets weaker with tariffs, right? That's what's been happening and it makes sense fundamentally. So normally it'd be like retest, up we go. And at the same time, we don't care about the dollar because we've been doing well regardless. But I have the feeling that dollar comes down and that could actually help metals at a time where you'd think maybe they want to retrace. I mean, we're technically at $4,050 silver, and now the markets are starting to drop. Like that's still perfect catalyst to have the drop in the metals, but actually it could boost it because the one thing we haven't had is markets going down and the metals and miners going up, and we could even when we're exhausted. I don't know. I just have a feeling that dollar drop could help us as it normally does. But anyway, let's not spend too long on that because the dollar has been irrelevant for a while. All right, gold. Now, we've had that one mental day there on Thursday, and I'm extremely surprised at how strong we bounced on Friday. It was very, and silver also, maybe even more so. You always get that one candle and maybe a second one, and then we just bounce and make new highs. One candle, and then we go up one candle, and it's a kind of, it's an uncertainty candle. Every time I see it, I'm uncertain. I'm like, Jesus, is that it? Are we gonna drop? But you can see it's just one candle, maybe another one. Just that one time we had another one. And it's just the next day is just really encouraging. The trend is intact, absolutely intact in gold. So, and that's a good candle. Silver, we had that. Okay, it wasn't a red day, but when it was, because at one point it was red, it was the most bearish candle, like reversal candle completely. Honestly, if I made a video on Thursday after market hours, I would have been like, that's it. Friday we're going down. Guaranteed. I probably would have said that and I would have been wrong. And I'm just being honest about that now. But by the close, we closed green. But and I know that in China they buy overnight, but that was seriously impressive because at one point we completely reversed the losses. We were at 51, okay, we gave back some, but we gave back some on that Trump tariff stuff. That's quite impressive because silver should go down with the markets, right? It's kind of risk on industrial, bit like copper, bit like oil. Market goes down, they should go down. Maybe gold is the one exception. But honestly, I say that to say this, the metals were impressive. Gold and silver held their own after that news. And you can't say the same about any other sector of the markets, right? Including some of the other metals. I think copper was down, Bitcoin trashed. Basically, it was red everywhere except gold and silver. Yeah, look at that copper down 4%. That's what I'm talking about. Oil was also down quite a bit, wasn't it? 5%. These are also commodities. Like I'm bullish oil long term, but I know that we're gonna probably go down here straight away Monday, Tuesday. And who knows, probably flush if there's any continuation. If the markets go down, I mean, the markets, and I hardly ever talk about the markets anymore because we go up regardless, but that's a big ass drop. That's a close at low of day. I want to continue down. I don't think there's going to be much of a bounce. So it's going to be very interesting because the way I see everything goes down except gold and silver. And gold, I can understand. Silver, I'm a bit hesitant saying that, but if silver is very correlated to gold, right? Silver's been catching up with gold. The central banks didn't buy silver. They bought gold. Gold went up way more. Silver's got catching up to do. It's caught up, but there's more catching up to do. The miners. Let's talk about the miners. I'm trying to keep the same structure as I usually do. Now, the miners got smashed on that Thursday, right? Big time. And okay, they didn't close at low of day, but it was pretty bad. Friday, when I saw silver make up so much, I was expecting the miners to do some catching up. And pre-market, we were up quite good, but we didn't go back up that much. And plus, you had that Trump stuff, which also sent us lower. The miners are a little bit more tied to the markets than the metals. So it's overall, you got to think about it. Zoom out and just if everything gets smashed next week, the miners are probably going to go down 1 or 2%, whilst the market goes down like 5 or 6. So that's a beautiful day, you know. If that's what happens, it's a good day. You may have lost money, but it's a very good day. And at one point there'll be a bounce. Maybe Trump will later, um, reverse his tweet, like not apply as high tariffs as he says, or maybe, and this is the real big kicker for us, maybe he starts to get more aggressive in the sort of domestic commodities space and starts to boost our sector, which has basically never ever happened. But you're starting to see that a little bit, right? There's a couple of mines that have been pumped up because of it. I'm trying to remember the name of one or two, but it actually escapes me. A trilogy, was it? There were one or two, and you've got uranium, you've got basically rare earths. That's kind of our space. So that could also seriously boost the sector whilst everything else goes down. So the miners were weak, but relative to the rest of the market, not really. But compared to the metals, they were. GDXJ, same thing. That's not strong, but after Thursday's candle, it's not the worst. SIL, it's basically where we've been for like 10 days. So we had that one day where we were way higher, the day that silver really took out 50 and all that. But if you ignore that day, we're kind of trading where we were. SILJ, same thing. So although our portfolios are not at the record highs compared to that special Thursday, they're just one day before, you know. So I'm still very, very happy despite being one good day away from new all-time highs. If I look at the portfolio, the specific stocks, so Newmont, that's okay, right? That's really a couple of percentage points from its absolute record. So 89 is the level. That's fine. We're trading at 85, a couple of percentage points away from there. So the seniors kind of did their thing. They're not down as much as some of the sort of silver juniors, especially after that Thursday, but they did their thing. Barrett Gold, yeah, that's been weak, hasn't it? It's been unable as like lower highs and I don't want to say lower lows, but that close is the lowest close. And you can see we peaked just below. It's just about holding, but you start to close below 32.50, you're gonna have to drop a bit, which is fine by me. Barrack, no problem adding to that if I have to. No problem holding what I've got. Agnico, that's just such a buy on the dip. And I remember those three stocks that Rick Rule mentioned: Agnico, Wheaton, and Franco-Nevada. And if I see them down, I know it's not a problem. Again, not down that much. We're closing where we've been for the last 2 weeks. No problem. Also closed a high of day. That's actually a better close than the other ones. Pan American Silver, no problem. Hanging around 39. We've been around 39 quite a lot. Quite a bit of selling here around 40 though. Look at those candles. It really opens and just always closes down. Really, every day opens and like the open is the high of day. It's quite a lot of red candles. But still holding around 38, 39. That's fine. For me, it's the same price. So between 38 and 40. But you got to say to yourself, what does Pan American need to go up? Besides, let's say, good earnings across the board, you kind of need the metals to keep going up. We've done a lot of that already. How much more? Got to watch silver really for that one. Wheaton, that one came down more than the others, and that was on a Thursday. It had a very bad close compared to the others, but it was on a level, right? This is clearly a level 103. So I had this level already there, and it bounced from there. Nice. It's got quite a way to go before it hits its old high, though. 8%. Next, Franco Nevada. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Completely dropped. Yeah, that was the one that had actually dropped before the others. Thursday, bad day, all the way out on Friday, holding support around 204. That little gap fill, 203.5. Interesting. But I wouldn't buy because, what if the markets take the miners down? For me, absolute opportunity because what's changed with the miners? Why would the miners go down? Right? You've got AI bubble, you've got tariffs. Okay, all these things don't hurt gold and silver. They only help, if anything. And if the metal stays where it is, and even if it drops a little bit, if it just either drops a little bit, stays where it is, or goes higher than it is, that really justifies a higher price, because we are printing money. Franco-Nevada, Wheaton are definitely printing money. These are not juniors that have promised to have certain reserves. These guys are delivering daily. They are printing money. So if the miners, and I'm not even talking about ETFs, if specific miners like Franco-Nevada go down, imagine it goes down to 180 just because the market's going down and oh, the miners are now risk on and down we go 10%. I'm very, very happy to buy that because fundamentally we belong at 250 or higher, 300. So I welcome a drop and I think there's a chance that the miners start to act like that because we're probably looking for an excuse to come down, right? We're at 4,000, we're at 50, the market started to come down. The miners look like they're following the markets a little bit, not much, which is also good. It's good to know we're outperforming on the way down. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a couple of days and see if that happens, and then I'll buy well in this case secondary support, which has always been my plan. Metalla, yeah, okay, bit like the others, not that weak. 666, that's fine, trading where it was the last 4 or 5 days. I am gold, one that also came down already on Thursday, bounced off support, makes sense. Equinox came down, bounced pretty close to its 52-week highs. B2 Gold unchanged, also off its first level. It's not bad. Harmony took out 19, but open close. That was the Thursday. That's okay for Harmony, actually. I mean, it's bounced a lot since bad news, so to hold all the way up here is quite good, but it's definitely got trouble taking out 19. Aris Mining closed at low of day, but hasn't come down that much. We're going to be back below 10 again. That was difficult to take out, but should act as support. SPSW, that's more platinum, palladium, and all that. And I think they took a hit, right? All the other commodities took a hit. I don't know. I don't follow rhodium and all these too much, but I have a feeling the precious metals did better than the rest of the commodities by and large because of gold, and silver follows gold more than any other metal. And that's your risk off safe haven and generally done quite well because of tariffs, right? So that's why I think gold and silver could go up, or if they go down less than everything else. So you're still good hiding there, and probably in the seniors, by the way. So maybe my first buys will be the seniors, the Wheatons, Francos, Newmonts, Barrick, Agnicos, etc., etc., and then go into the sort of mid-tier golds, and then go into the silver. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. All right, let's finish off with the silver stocks. Boom, boom. I mean, first Majestic, I was waiting for 14. I've trimmed 14, right? So I trimmed like 14, 12 or something. On that day we popped up, something like that, yeah. But here we are, back down, 13.25. Okay. We did what we were supposed to do. Come all the way and tag this. Look how beautiful that looks. Look how it's funny how news just is an excuse to do what you were gonna do technically anyway. You know, I mean, that is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted, exactly what I predicted, and it's good to see. And I trimmed it, but how much more can it go down? If silver doesn't really go down much, if it holds 50 or 49, 49 is the same as 50, 48 is the same as 50. If it doesn't really go down much with the markets and it starts to curl and say, okay, I'm gonna now go higher. I want to go to 55, 60, and then people think, oh, 50 is the floor. We could really we could really go up a lot. And I think the margins that the price of First Majestic and a lot of these silver stocks should be so much higher. And I'm starting to think about that too in the other metals. Okay, First Majestic, not bad. Tagged its absolute resistance. Down we go. Underperforming the metal, but that's what the miners are doing right now. Fortuna, there's your resistance. I'm going to move this down. This is my real resistance now. I wanted to sell more of this, but I didn't. That's okay. It didn't come down too much actually, but it hasn't gone up much either. So, but okay, CDE, yeah, I think that's the first time we've had two red candles like that have severely dropped us, but we're still at 1950. I think we were above 20s for just like one day, max two. That Thursday doesn't really count. It was like a horrible day, but Friday being down again. I wish that Kerr actually was green. Would have been good. But is this support? Because apparently it is. No, I don't see support. I would not even count on CD being at support until I see silver hitting support. It's just gone too vertical for too long. Next, Heckler. Pretty similar to CDE. I'm going to delete these support zones. I just don't know where support is. I mean, this is an obvious one, but we're not going to go there. EXK. Oh, that's a bit weaker. Very choppy around there. There's your kind of support, 740 or something. Couple of low candles there. Anyway, I mean, and that's it, isn't it? I mean, I'm not going to go through all the juniors because and I bought quite a few new stocks I haven't even added here. I actually bought maybe five or six. I need to bring them up actually. I don't have them in front of me here because it's Saturday, but I bought some rare earths and actually by coincidence before the Trump tariff. That's why I took Friday off. I just completely rearranged my portfolio. I did tungsten, oil, tin, palladium, platinum, copper, gold and silver, some other gold and silver ones that are sort of that have been touted that I'm not in. There's probably a few commodities I'm forgetting about. Uranium, I'm already in. That had a good day. That even closed green actually on Friday. But yeah, I mean, for me now, I'm starting to pivot. I mean, I'm happy I've got the gold and silver stocks that I have. I've trimmed them at the highs so far, happen to be the highs. I've also trimmed them below, right? And it's kept on going up. I've got decent sidelines, even after buying quite a lot of other commodities. And I also added the BHP, Rio, and Freeport. I own those two, those three. Rio, RIO, BHP, and FCX for Freeport McMoran. Like those are sort of, I always like to own seniors first, but here I'm just going to go for the juniors straight away. I've seen how well they've done in gold and silver, and I don't think we've done anything like the kind of move we've done in gold and silver. I think copper, copper might be a better long-term play than gold and silver. That sounds ridiculous, and if it's not, fine. You don't have to beat gold and silver. They've just done perfectly. I just need one more year like this year, and I am absolutely sorted. Like life change, life's already changed, but definitely confirmed life changing, sorted. And I think copper could do it. I don't know if uranium could do it because it's already gone up crazy, but copper, especially if you're going to go down like with the markets, cool. I'm going to own gold and silver. We're going to keep making money like forever, right? It's not going to stop. For gold and silver to stop making money, to stop going up, you'd need like government to default on its debts, to not pay, bring all the troops home around the world, stop every military intervention, completely cut government by 50%, the kind of stuff that would be impossible, especially with a leader like Trump who likes the popular vote. You need a real principled Ron Paul to come in. Then you'll see gold go down. But that's not what you've got. So gold and silver will keep going up. And it would be great if they keep going up. And even if the market goes down and they go down a little bit with it, like the miners go down a little bit with it, copper, oil, a lot of these other commodities will go down more than gold and silver. So as we make money in gold and silver or lose less than everyone else is losing, at one point you can flip or start to really build your portfolio in the other commodities and watch them have their day in the sun. Because copper, what's copper gonna do? I know what copper's gonna do. It'll go down with the markets or whatever, but then at one point there'll be some sort of bam and copper starts to outperform because you've probably seen more of these podcasts than I've seen where it's like for the world to have what they want, in the next 20 years you need to consume more copper than has been mined. What was that quote? More copper than has been mined in all of history in the next 10 years, something crazy. And like there's no substitute for copper. It's the cheapest, I mean, gold is the best metal, but the reason you don't have it everywhere is because it's too expensive. And copper is basically the best one for most of these projects that we're supposed to have. I don't know. I know copper more than the other commodities other than gold and silver. And I'm starting to get to know some copper stocks. And I know a lot of the stocks that you own, that we own, that I own, gold and silver, a lot of the sort of, what is it called? base metals, the byproducts of all their mining is copper. They actually mine all of these other metals too. Like Barrick, right, is a big copper one. Um, and also palladium and platinum, by the way. And I think they're going down. They're following the markets more than gold and silver. So that's good because I think palladium is going to outperform platinum. I've said it before and it's started to do it. Like palladium's down here. Palladium's going to go all the way up here. It is. It has to, right? Platinum, platinum's done a bigger move already. If I go to the weekly, it's already quite high to quite close to its high. So that's why I was looking at palladium. It's not some genius thing. It's just platinum had already done it, and I don't even know what it's even used for. I don't know. I know it's just a precious metal, and it needs to go higher, right? So, all right, a bit sporadic today. I guess what I'm trying to say is we've hit resistance. We've hit 4,000 and we've hit $50 in gold and silver respectively. And by absolute coincidence, the markets have started to go down because of the Trump tariff. Maybe the miners start to go down with the markets, right? I think they will. I think the markets will keep going down next week. I think the miners will go down a little bit with the markets. I think it'll be extremely bullish stuff. I think you could even get the metals going up a little bit. I think gold will outperform silver just because gold's taken out its resistance. Silver is kind of too close to it, and gold is more risk off than silver. So I feel like we'll have the old dynamics of silver and the miners following the markets, but they're definitely going to outperform on the way down. And if we bounce, we're definitely going to outperform on the way up. So we're good. And I think this is an opportunity to buy the dip. And I'm going to use that by sort of adding to the seniors first because I'm unsure. Maybe I'm a bit early, right? I'm always cautious. I always sell very little. I always buy very little, but I always buy more than I sell. But so I'll be buying the seniors first, the Agnicos, the Francos, the Wheatons, the Newmonts. And then once they're sufficiently bought, or if I think we're going to curl and start to move up, then I'll start adding to the sort of more aggressive mid tiers, the I Am Gold, the Equinoxes. And if I really feel like we're going up, or maybe we keep going down, I feel like let's get more aggressive. I'll add to the juniors finally. I'll get really good prices on the juniors because by then they would have come down a lot. But I'm not just talking gold and silver. I'm looking at other commodities now. Rare earths, coppers, palladium, platinums, the main best mid tiers and juniors that I can find. And that's it. I'm ready to buy the dip. I've been ready for ages, and I think this is where we could go down, but it's the best case scenario. We're going down because of the markets, not because something's fundamentally changed in our sphere. And if anything, these tariffs should help us. If the metals go up, we're printing even more money. So it's kind of perfect scenario for people like me who want to add more to the sector, you know, and especially in the other commodities that seem to be going down with the markets even more. And I think that's temporary. Copper, palladium, platinum, oil. Jesus, oil, I think long term that's going to be amazing. But I'll let it go down first. All right, let's see what happens next week. Next week should be absolute fireworks. But I'm very, very encouraged. We're in the right sector, and now we have an opportunity to buy quality stuff long term, even cheaper. All right, good luck.